Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial we are going to create a tumbler using materials from the Tipsy Magnolia collaboration box. We're doing things a little backwards. I'm showing you the finished product of all four of these gorgeous tumblers before we jump in, because I want to go over all of the details and hopefully answer all the questions that you may have before we even get started on the tumbler. So most importantly, this box is going to release February 14th on Valentine's Day. Go ahead and tell your other half or your bank account that you need this box for Valentine's Day. So it's releasing February 14th at 11 a.m. CST time. It will run all weekend, but there are a limited amount of boxes available, so you definitely want to try to get one as quickly as possible. This is a pre-order and boxes will ship around March 1st. We chose to do pre-order instead of immediately available. That way it can accommodate everyone's time zone, work schedule, what have you, because a lot of times what happens is if we would have released at anywhere in any time in the morning, those of you that are at work might have missed out and vice versa. It will be $89.99 plus shipping, unless of course you meet the free shipping threshold on the tipsymagnolia.com website. What is in the box? Tons of things for your value. So you're going to get either a 24 ounce or a 32 ounce plump from Tipsy Magnolia, as well as one of the acrylic snow globes. The lid colors may vary. You'll also receive a gift card from Tipsy Magnolia. We will have a digital file download coupon or gift card to Khobbs Designs for the Mini Checkered pattern, a custom exclusive glitter from Rae Creations, 2 UVDTF florals from Southern Belle Glitter, as well as a 1 ounce full glue, a bottle of levitation solution suspended from Adhesive Apothecary, 2 custom floral element sheets from Gracefully Created, and a small set of a little Extra Incorporated fast set epoxy. So much bang for your buck, and you will be able to make all of these tumblers and then some from the contents of the box. Plus we will have 3 tutorials walking you through every single step. So get your boxes, y'all, February 14th at tipsymagnolia.com, 11 a.m. CST time. Now let's get to crafting. So we're going to start off with our 32 ounce plump from Tipsy Magnolia, and I have gave it a couple coats of the metallic gold from Khobbs. I got this from Lowe's. If y'all don't know, I am now a Lowe's creator, and we have a whole storefront online full of all of my favorite spray paints from Lowe's because they are always in stock and they ship too. I used the Color Shop paints for so long and I absolutely love them, but it's really hard finding them in stock anywhere, and I can't find anywhere that is actually reasonable. It's ridiculous on Amazon how much they cost. Michael's does not ship to home, and Walmart will not ship them either. So I have had to switch it up, and we're going back to using Khobbs and Rust-Oleum. And I found that Lowe's nearby always has them in stock and they will ship to your home, which is a huge deal. So check out all of my favorite spray paints in our storefront. I have it listed down in the description, but this one is metallic gold, and we are going to cover it with our new glitter from Rae Creations, Primrose. Is that not gorgeous? Look at all of those colors. So beautiful. Okay, we'll be using the A Little Extra Incorporated Turbo Dry Epoxy to apply our glitter. So I'm going to pop on my respirator really quick. You always want to wear a respirator. Put it on before you mix your Part A and Part B epoxy. Got our little mixing cup. Okay. So what I like to do is go in with Part B, which is the, it's more liquid. The viscosity is a little lower on this.
and there's 5 milliliters of part B. And then I go in with part A. Part A is thicker, so if you put part B in first, then whenever you put part A in, it's going to rise the part B up, and you'll get a more accurate measurement. Because if you put the thicker one in first, I lost my cap, there it is. If you put the thicker one in first, you have to wait for it to kind of level itself out and rise up to the measurement point. So if you put in the thinner one, it really helps get your measurement correct. And I always use my stir sticks over and over. I will trim off this excess epoxy that's on the side to make it flat. And I reuse them until I can't use them anymore, because if there's an epoxy coating on top of the popsicle sticks, then it actually helps mix with less bubbles. So I also have the silicone sticks, but I hate cleaning them off, and little bits of glitter and like lint and stuff, dust sticks to them, and it gets into my epoxy, so they're not my favorite. This is a really great epoxy because even the fast set, you have about a 25-minute work time. So I will have a full turner. My turner has eight spaces on it, so I can work with a lot of cups. And I've mixed up to 240 milliliters, and it doesn't flash cure on me. It does have a little bit of a smell, but that's a compromise that I'm willing to make to save time and get a really good quality epoxy, because it has an amazing shine. And even with me whipping it like this and turning it into like literally a soap foam, I can remove all of those bubbles with a quick torch, because this is a lower viscosity epoxy. The torch reaches the bubbles and allows them to pop really easily. And my tumblers are always super level, because I don't have to use as much epoxy on each tumbler to get good coverage. Because it's thinner, it's easier to move around on my tumblers. Even on that first glitter coat, I still only need 2 coats to cover a chunky glitter. Okay, so we're going to use probably 2 milliliters of this. I mixed extra because I am going to work on another cup. And even though this is a fast set, I will still have time to give this tumbler a full coat of epoxy, glitter it, and then move on to the next before it even starts setting up. Now this glitter has lots of opals mixed in, so depending on what base you use, it will reflect some of the color underneath. We're giving this a super thin coat of epoxy, and I'm going to dab all around just to give it some texture and even it out. Okay, got good coverage. Get how pretty. This is a mini chunky mix, and you absolutely need it. If you did not get the Tipsy Magnolia Brittany Barnes Boutique box, this glitter will be released to the public on the Chase Rae website. And you absolutely have got to get this and add it to your collection, because look at how gorgeous that is. Like the ultimate peekaboo glitter, beach glitter. So many colors. It's gorgeous. Okay, so let me knock off the excess. We're going to put this back, and then we will roll our tumbler to flatten out the glitter. Really easy. I don't want to move my glitter around. For these 32-ounce tumblers, I usually use 2 sheets of paper, roll it up, and just flatten it out. This helps minimize the amount of epoxy I have to use and sanding that I have to do in between coats to get it nice and smooth for our spray paints. Now I'm going to give this about 2 to 4 hours to cure. I will brush off the excess with a chip brush and then go in with my 2 coats of a little Extra Inc Epoxy.
I have imported my Mini Checkered from Khobbs Designs, and you'll see it has some dimensions there at the bottom. That is only if you're putting it on a stainless or just simply spray painted 32-ounce plump from Tipsy Magnolia. We have glitter and 2 coats of epoxy on our tumbler, so we want to measure the circumference of our tumbler, make sure the dimensions are locked so we keep our little squares square, and input the width that matches our tumbler. We are going to have some overhang on the top and the bottom. That is totally fine. We can just trim that off. Since we kept our square shape and we did not, I guess you would say, unlock the dimensions so that we could move it around, we were going to have that little overhang on the top or the bottom. So I removed one of these rows. Since we don't need it to go all the way up to the top, our florals are pretty much going to cover that up. So I'm going to, or I did remove every other square stencil so that we would have our checkered pattern. And I'm going to trim off all of this excess so that we can line it up on our tumbler. Now I am using the Cricut transfer tape, and I'm also using Cricut stencil vinyl for this one. We've used the Hobby Lobby 405 brand, or 405 brand stencil vinyl, but I ordered this from Walmart. Oh yeah. It's going to line up just right. Okay. Now, this does have 2 coats of epoxy on it. I did have some repelling issues. I think I had some lotion on my hands when I was sanding it in between those layers. So I had some repelling, and then I had to crazy sand it to get it level. You want your tumbler to be level. If you're not putting this on a smooth, just solid base as a stencil itself, and you are putting it on glitter, you want to make sure it is nice and smooth so your pattern isn't wonky. So I'm just going to line this up around the bottom rim. I'm going to pull it up just a hair from the bottom. I'm not going all the way to the top, but my biggest concern is getting it lined up right here in the center. I want all of our squares to line up. Looks like we've got it there. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And to make this super easy, we're just going to roll our tumbler straight onto it. That's going to keep it straight. And if we have any that look a little wonky on us, then we will straighten them out before we put our spray paint on. Go. Let's press these down. This is going to be so awesome. Oh no! Excuse you. Okay. So now before we go in with our spray paint, I want to make sure that all of these are flat to my cup. So these couple that I have pulled up just from where there was a little bit of air that got underneath our transfer tape, I'm just going to pull them up and straighten them out. And then I will go in with our spray paint. The most tedious part of this whole thing is going to be picking these off after we spray paint. Now, another thing that you can do instead of doing a stencil is to cut this in a vinyl so that when you put it on your cup, you're done. You don't have to remove any of the stencil. But we will be using silver lilac satin from Rust-Oleum. Make sure all of these are flat. And then I'm going to go outside and spray paint with the silver lilac, and we'll be back to remove our stencils. This is spray painted. Had a couple bugs try to unalive themselves. Why do they always come straight to your cups? Like, there is no bugs outside right now. It's too cold until I start spray painting. But I was going to just do the checkered pattern, but I had a really good idea. And we're going to add some full adhesive, which is a adhesive that dries tacky from Southern Belle Glitter. We're going to take some of this and we're going to put the same kind of glitter, or the same glitter, ombre it from the top, and see if we can't get a really cool effect between our pattern and the glitter to kind of blend in like a checker fade. I'm not going to worry about getting too much down there at the bottom because we're not going to go all the way to the bottom. And it is a chunky mixed glitter, so I don't have to worry about any of those streaks either, but I am going to dab my brush all over just to get a little bit of texture to it, because not only does it help get rid of those streaks if you don't need them, but it does kind of bubble it up without being noticeable under your glitter or epoxy, and that helps grab a hold of your glitter a little bit better. The great thing about using a glue like this is that you can go straight in with epoxy. I'm just going to dab it until it begins to dry a little bit, and then I will dry this up with my heat gun and apply our glitter. I'm going to go wash off my brush and dry this up with the heat gun until it is clear, and we'll be back with our glitter. So we've got our primrose glitter. Let's go heavy around the top here. And then we're going to tilt our cup and just allow this to fall down. I think this is going to look so good. Okay. I think we're going to add a little bit more because our decals are going to come down to about right here. There we go. That's good. And just so we're not sticking to anything, I'm going to use the back of our transfer tape. Let's flatten this out. That way we only have to put 1 to 2 coats of epoxy on this before we add on our decals. I remember when I first started making tumblers, it was like over 4 years ago.
people would ask me if I would put additional coats of epoxy on the cups so they would have more bulk to them. And I thought they were insane. I do not like bulky cups at all. You do need to get at least 4 coats of epoxy on your cups so that it does have a really good solid coat of epoxy and protection. But yeah, some would even ask me to put extra like 6 on there. Completely insane. Okay, so I am going to seal this in so it doesn't move around. If my tumbler wasn't sanded, I could go ahead and remove our stencils and then seal it, but since we do have the sanded cup underneath, I'm going to seal this in with Rust-Oleum matte clear coat prior to removing those stencils, and then we'll be back. I gave this 2 coats of Rust-Oleum matte clear coat, and we're just going to go through here and pop off our stencils. A little hard to see these. And like I said, you could have just completely avoided having to remove the stencils if you just want to cut a vinyl to go over instead of stenciling and spray painting. That will definitely make it easier, and you can even use a pattern vinyl. I wouldn't get too busy with the pattern if, of course, you're going to be adding florals to it, but some of that pearlescent vinyl or even a metallic would look really, really cool with the checkered. I love combining floral peekaboo stencils with my florals, but the design never gets old because I feel like every one of those that I do and every one that I see you guys do looks so beautiful. It's something that I don't think will ever go out of style, but I do want to do some different bases. Gotta throw something out there different every now and then. And I love, love, love all of the different digital templates that you can get. From Kimberly Hobbs or K Hobbs website. You can also get pre-cut templates that just save so much time. We did a really cute Valentine's Day one with a Highland cow using one of the pre-cut templates, and oh my gosh, so easy. I'm the worst at cutting templates on double-sided adhesive. So I'm not going to stay on here and do this entire thing, but I'm going to remove all of our stencils. Then I'm going to give this 2 coats of epoxy. I'm sure it will need 2 coats to get a really smooth and glossy surface for us to add on our decal, and then we will be back. Here's the florals that we're going to use on our purple checkered. Now this does have one really large border
almost 11.5 inches wide. And because of the nice floral pattern, the seam is not going to be so obvious. We'll try to line the seam up with our checkered pattern. Of course, that's not going to hide the seam, but it's definitely going to make it more aesthetically pleasing, I guess, for those of us that are just super OCD. I'm going to trim this right up against here. And then we still have these to use on something else. These are so beautiful. Cut off this excess right here at the top. So I do want a little bit of a gap in between my flowers and the top rim of these cups, so that when I sand, when I do my final sand and sand around the top rim to make it super smooth, I don't want to be hitting any of that clear vinyl. Look at how gorgeous that turned out. It's just unreal. It's so beautiful. Now this is the flower that we'll probably be cutting off. So we'll overlap it like this and just cut off the excess of that one. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Just because there's not a tremendous amount of the yellow color in here. So I trimmed off just a little piece of our backing so that when we have this lined up, we can just press that down. There we go. I have a really strong feeling that the tumblers that we're making with the contents of this box is going to become one of my favorites. I have done my best to do something new, something different than we've done on our channel before, of course, with exception of florals. We're always going to have florals. So when we come to the overlap, look at how good we line that up. Oh. So we come to the overlap here. What I'm going to do is come over as far as I can until I see the edge of one of our checkers right here. And I'm going to take a piece of tape and line it up with that. So our seam lines up with one of our rows. To get that pressed down good. Okay. Right there. Grab our craft blade. And now this little piece, we're gonna try to cut around it just so that one little piece is not cut down. So those little elements we'll try to leave or cut around. cut down through here. I'm just going to cut right alongside this element. Pull off this excess on the top, pull out what is underneath. Perfect. We've got a little bump right here, so I'm going to lift this up and fix that. Okay, there we go. We've got a nice seam. Looks really, really, really good. So now we just got to get our decal cut. I will pick some vinyl that I want to use and we will be back. So we have our words. This I made myself and it will be available down below in the description as an SVG. I will just probably pop it into our Brittany Barnes Boutique public Google Drive. So I am going to put this one on our 0.045 offset, and then this is a 0.045 offset of our offset. Lots of offsets because they just make everything better. All of our vinyl is Tech Wrap Craft. And I did cut everything really nice and straight so that whenever we're layering our vinyl, I can line up the grid on my transfer tape with our vinyl and then line that up with our checker grid on our tumbler. That will help us get everything nice and straight. I could use the hinge method for this and my light pad, but I don't feel like getting my light pad out and plugging it up. This is Sage Matte, and then beneath it is the Pearlescent White. We are going to have to take this off. Guys. Now, if I were to have put a solid vinyl on as my first offset, then I would have put a coat of epoxy between my decal and this decal, or my my elements and the decal. But since I'm using the textured vinyl, I don't feel that I need to. Because you will not be able to see any sort of indentation since we have that texture in behind our solid vinyls. Oh gosh. Seriously, just gorgeous. I'm in love with that. Okay, so all this needs is 2 coats of epoxy. I will very lightly sand in between my coats so it gets it nice and smooth, and this will be done. I hope that y'all have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below for me, and I will answer them as quickly as possible. All materials will be listed down below. However, they will not be released individually until after our boxes have shipped and you guys have received them. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. That is all for today. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next time.